Wouldn't it be nice if housing prices were to come down and maybe correct itself? Well, today's video, my friend, I'm here to tell you that housing prices are not coming down in the state of Arkansas and many other places in the country, but I'll tell you why. If you're looking for a short, quick answer, the short answer is supply and demand. Thanks for watching. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my friend, my name's Anthony Mosley, and I'm a real estate broker in Northwest Arkansas, right up here in the northwest corner of the natural state of Arkansas. And I help people just like you on a regular basis decide, after presenting the facts, does it make sense to live or move to Arkansas? So today we're talking about housing affordability. I'm sure you're watching the news. I'm sure you're hearing things in your local market about raising housing prices or lowering housing prices, maybe depend on your hyper-local market. Please know that real estate is hyper-local. Today's content is very statewide. Of course, we can dig into the details about hyper-local in Northwest Arkansas, but statewide, the housing in Arkansas is not getting any cheaper. In no particular order, the first reason why is because of population growth. Arkansas's population at last check was just a little over 3 million people. You may be thinking, man, 3 million people, that's not a lot of people, but we are growing and growing steadily. Many people are coming here from Texas, Florida, Colorado, California, Arizona, the Northeast, the Midwest. In fact, all over the United States, many people are moving to Arkansas as the housing here and the cost of living has typically been lower than most areas of the country. As you can imagine, with more people moving to the area, that drives housing prices up. Number 2 on our list is a booming job market. Like here in Northwest Arkansas, we have major employers like Tyson, J.B. Hunt, and of course, Walmart, who are major employers in our area. And those corporations are improving their home offices. Specifically, Walmart is developing a new home office, and many of the buildings on that campus are already open. They should be fully operational and open by the end of 2025, but they're calling many of their employees here to Arkansas to work and live local. Some of the ancillary businesses to Walmart, to Tyson and J.B. Hunt, and many other startups and companies wanting to be close to the action are also starting their businesses here in Northwest Arkansas, and many places down near the Little Rock area are also improving in the job market arena, bringing more and more people to the area in order to live in Arkansas. Number 3 on our list is housing supply. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's supply and demand. With so many people moving to an area and not a lot of people leaving an area, the only thing that can happen is we need more housing units, whether it's apartment buildings, single family, multifamily housing units. Housing is an essential need when it comes to living in an area. And if there's lack of supply, that's also going to drive the prices higher. If there's only 5 apples and there's 25 people that want apples, those prices of those apples are going to go higher. Simple supply and demand economics. Zoning restrictions are also causing a limited of housing supply. Zoning restrictions saying we cannot build a neighborhood here, but you can build it over here. Or they're not allowing that zoning from maybe an agricultural into a residential zoning that's restricting the ability to build in certain areas in Arkansas. Next on our list is inflation and rising construction costs. Costs of material and labor remains high. What that does is not allowing builders to build a more affordable neighborhood. So those more affordable neighborhoods aren't being built. In order for the builder to recoup their costs and make a profit, they're building more and more expensive neighborhoods, in turn limiting the number of affordable neighborhoods. Let's pause for a moment on that word affordability. That is very subjective to the individual. Let's take it over to the restaurant, for example. You may say that an affordable filet mignon Oscar style, which is one of my favorites, is affordable at $85. Whereas somebody else, depending, maybe it's a different region or a different style of restaurant, would say that a filet mignon 8-ounce Oscar style is only $35. Maybe that's more affordable for them. Either way, the price is less, but the feeling of affordability, depending on who you're talking to, might say one is affordable and the other is not. Same goes for housing. Number 5 on our list is there's an increased investment in long-term and short-term rentals. Maybe different parts of the country where you're coming from, there's a huge restriction on short-term rentals, or they don't allow them at all. I know that here locally in regards to short-term rentals, depending on the city or municipality, they may limit the amount of short-term rentals that can be allowed or permits that are allowed for short-term rentals. But as far as restrictions and complete outright banning short-term rentals, we don't have that here in Northwest Arkansas. And I don't know as much down in Little Rock, but I would bet to believe down in Little Rock, there aren't areas that say absolutely not, no short-term rentals. In regards to long-term rentals, there are investment companies that are coming in and buying entire neighborhoods. So imagine here's a field of 300 houses and an investor comes in and buys 100 of those homes. And what they do is they rent them back to the people that can no longer afford that house because somebody else bought it at economies of scale versus at market value for an individual. This pushes out first-time home buyers. This pushes out folks that maybe don't have the budget to be able to go above list price. In turn, again, raising house prices. Number 6 on our list, hot topic, if you're looking to buy a home, is interest rate volatility. Interest rate over the course of time has gone up and down. I've done videos upon videos on this, but maybe this is your first time to the channel. What we know over the course of history is housing prices have always gone up and to the right with small corrections over time, but they've always gone up and to the right. However, when we're looking at interest rate charts over the last 30 years, we're still here below the 30-year average line. Back in the 80s and early 90s, there was high volatility where we were going up into the teens in regards to interest rate prices. Now, I know your next argument would be to say, hey, Anthony, back also in the 80s, you could buy a house for $5,000 and 7 blueberries, but interest rates were 16%. Now, houses are extremely high, and we have interest rates that are itching up in the 7s. Of course, depending on if it's a 30-year fixed, if it's a conventional, if it's an ARM. I'm not a lender, won't ever be a lender. That's why this says right here, not a lender. But either way, my friend, we know that interest rates are going to go up and down over time. Housing prices, again, have continued to go up and to the right since recorded history. Also, with rising interest rates, people that are maybe renting that want to move into a home, they say, you know what? I'll just continue renting. I can't afford to buy that home, even though I might have the down payment. I can't afford that mortgage because interest rates are going up. I dislike to say that interest rates are high because, again, in the past, they've been in the teens. Yes, they're higher than what they were in 2020 when you could get an interest rate 30-year fixed for 2.5% or maybe 3%. They're certainly higher in that correlation, but as over the course of the last 30 years, they're still significantly lower. Here in Northwest Arkansas, there are so many people moving in, but not a lot of people moving out. Those that bought or maybe refinanced in the 2020, 2021 timeframe are saying, you know what, I really like this 2.5% interest rate, but the house doesn't fit me anymore. And this is what's causing people to say, you know what, I'll stay in this house that doesn't fit me anymore because I like the interest rate. I know that buying a bigger home or maybe downsizing or buying something with more land is going to be significantly more expensive because of the interest rate volatility. However, people are being uncomfortable in their homes. Maybe they're adding on. What that does is that doesn't help with the existing home inventory for the people that are moving in. I've recently done a market update video that tells you more about Northwest Arkansas housing market, but that's neither here nor there for this video. Number 7, lack of affordable housing policies. You know, Arkansas, in relation to affordable housing policies, compared to many other states, there aren't a lot of policies set in place saying that you can build homes, but this many or this percentage have to be considered affordable in relation to local economics, in relation to local income rates. There are a couple of entities in the state of Arkansas, and I know there are a couple here in Northwest Arkansas that are certainly helping lobby and fight for more regulations in regards to more affordable housing tracts being developed. Before we get into number 8, if you're thinking about making a move, my friend, to Northwest Arkansas, down in the comments is a link to my relocation guide. You plug in your address and I'll physically mail you my relocation guide. Consider that our first step in maybe working together and helping you move to Northwest Arkansas. It would be my pleasure to schedule a call to discuss that in more detail with you. Number 8, the 2 things that are for certain in life are death and taxes. And we're not talking about death today. We're talking about taxes. Property taxes here in Arkansas might be different than where you're coming from. States, for instance, like California, you might know that you pay a percentage of the purchase price. That's your tax basis. That's what you'll pay for the foreseeable future until you go to sell and then buy another property. Here in Arkansas, we pay taxes in arrears, meaning we pay based off of what was assessed of that property last year. And then our properties, especially here in Benton County, are reassessed about every 3 to 5 years. So our taxes will continue to rise over time. I know that since I've been in this home since 2020, I believe we've been reassessed once, and our taxes have maybe gone up $500 to $700 for the year. Also here on number 8 is insurances are increasing. As you can imagine, they're in California with wildfires, Florida and the Gulf Coast with hurricanes. Insurance companies are saying, you know what, we can no longer afford to insure these properties because of all these natural disasters. Here in Arkansas, we have hail and tornadoes, about 39 on average tornadoes every year. About 2 hailstorms is what I've experienced here, living in Arkansas for a combined total of around 12 years. About 2 hailstorms. Usually they're pea-sized hail, not really much bigger than that, but hailstorms can affect the life and longevity of your roof. So that said, what was happening, many people in Arkansas would have a hailstorm. And yes, there was hail and it was a weather event that you could claim on your homeowner's insurance. But what was happening is people would have the roofer come out. The roofer would say, yep, you've got hail marks on 4 or 3 slopes of the roof. You are qualified, or many insurance companies will allow you to claim that. I would advise you, my friend, if you're looking to move to Arkansas and you see a roof that has some hail marks on it, that does not mean that the roof does not function as intended. It may not last as long, but imagine this. You are driving down the road and you get a rock chip in the side of the car. That doesn't mean that you need a new car or a new outside. You need to redo the outside of the car. Maybe you could repair that dent or what have you, but you don't need a whole new car. You don't need a whole new recovering of the outside of the car. The same goes for the roof of your house. That roof, unless it's leaking or failing, hail damage can show up. Looks like a little spot on the roof, but that doesn't mean that the roof is failing. That's why insurance companies here in Arkansas have started parsing out your homeowner's insurance from a wind and hail policy, that if in the case that you're claiming on wind and hail, it's not affecting your homeowner's insurance. It's more of that wind and hail rider or that wind and hail policy. Number 9 on our list is gentrification of urban areas. And what that means, my friends, is wealthier people are moving to Arkansas for a lower cost of living. Everywhere across the country is becoming more and more expensive. So in order to help with that bottom line, many people are moving to Arkansas, lower cost of living, housing, taxes, all of those types of factors raining in on people that are wealthier moving to Arkansas. What that does is that prices out people who are already here local, saying, hey, you're raising the prices, you're wealthy coming in, buying that home for cash, whereas I might need to get a mortgage on that property. This definitely, again, affects those that are looking to rent to move into a home, or those that are looking to maybe move up to a more expensive home or one with more land. As you know, the theme of this whole video is rising real estate costs, not getting any more affordable. Last but not least, but definitely tied to number 9, is not only are more wealthy people moving into the area, but we're seeing a slow growth rate when it comes to wages in an area. So yes, we talked about wealthy people moving in, but let's talk about the differentiator of wealth does not necessarily mean income earner. That might be somebody that's no longer an income earner that's coming in with cash. So number 9, we're talking about wealthier people. Number 10, we're talking about the local income earner, that housing prices are going like this, but their wage increase isn't going up. Yes, we have people from other areas of the country that are moving here with higher wages. That is certainly something that affects number 9 and number 10 on our list today. But imagine you're living in an area here in Northwest Arkansas, for instance. It's happening. It's happening to some of my neighbors. Imagine you're here and you're earning this much money, and then a major corporation moves somebody in that's making this much money. You both are going for that same house. As housing prices are continuing to rise at a faster rate than wages, you might have maybe 10 years ago been earning $65,000, and now you're earning $75,000. So yes, you're earning more, but not at the same rate that housing prices are going up. That makes it a problem for affordability, especially when a higher income earner comes into the area and is able to outbid on that more expensive house than someone whose wages haven't increased as dramatically over time. My friend, it's always a pleasure to put this information together for you. And now you know a little bit more about what life is like in and around Bentonville and Arkansas. Thanks for watching.